Hello ladies and gentlemen, SeKo Starcraft here, bringing you some games from the Community Cup number 9, hosted by my good pal Gonzy. Sent me out some replays from the most recent tournament that they had, and I got a chance to check it out a little bit. There are some links down below to the tournament that he puts on, as well as his stream channel that he has set up there, and you guys can go and check out all the different action he has, including some of the German casted series. For any of my German fans out there, he's got a lot of the series there in German. But in this game we have Selphy. I actually really like that name. I think that's kind of cute. I don't think he's sponsored by LG, but maybe he is. Up here, we don't know who Barcode is, and I didn't know from the replays either. Loser picked map order? Yeah. As we see, Gonzy's in there. There was a whole big tournament list. You guys can see all the different games that happened, who played, who won. I'm not going to spoil anything, and I don't have the full series from some of these different actions, so it's more just about some great games that he had forwarded my way to check out. Hopefully in the new year here, I'm going to have a little bit of time to do a bit of streaming myself. The difficulty is I don't play a ton of ladder games, because I don't think I'm really that good, so therefore I don't think the entertainment value is as good. But I am going to be interested in doing a little bit of streaming in the new year, so hopefully those people that enjoy watching my content, you will join me as I get into some of the stuff that's live action. Maybe even get a webcam, you guys can see the ugly mug that's behind this whole casting situation. Anyways, Protoss versus Terran. We have a gas even before Gateway is down. I think this might lend into some sort of very fast tech, maybe a starport. I'm seeing a lot of popularity and people want to go those oracles. Such an easy unit to get some damage in with, and then peace out. Probe does leave. He doesn't do anything funky, so it's not that the Terran player have to worry too much about that. No Marine and Reaper. There it is. I was about to say that's more than likely the case of what's coming out of this place there. What the hell? That's unfortunate. I don't know if he's going to notice that anytime soon. Unless he looks at his reactor. Like, it looks like there should be more people mining. But there is not. And that was why his Reaper was very slightly delayed. This probe's just down here. He's going to see this command center go up. And the Reaper should be able to come down there. Probe will hopefully escape. But he did see what he needed to in the timings of that. It's also going to be a fast expand on this side. But he always got a mothership core on the way. I'll protect him from that Reaper that is coming out. Reaper is going to scout around, make sure there wasn't anything really funny and proxy going on back there. I haven't seen too many cannon rushes against Terran just because it's... well, it's Terran. I mean, they can just pick up and other things, so cannon rushing generally isn't as effective. Though I'd like to see somebody try. A lot of times if you're going to cannon rush a Terran, you do stuff behind the mineral line, but a lot of newer maps, you'll notice they put more space back behind the mineral line so that you can't go for those really shitty pylon traps into cannon rushes. Because there was a lot of people that made essentially their StarCraft career, so to speak, their streaming careers as being nothing but cannon rushers. So we can see that these games are opened up a bit, so that's much more difficult to try to block off where you're going to be putting cannons. So it's more about catching by surprise. He gets one probe. Worthwhile. Stalker on the way, so he'll be able to protect both bases just fine. Well, he got some shield damage in, and that really doesn't mean that much in the grand scheme of things, but heck. Why not? Looks like he is going to try to get back up into the base. He is in position to deny this. Ooh, almost got away. But shut down pretty fast, so good control there out of Barcode. Anybody who is Barcode, their name is now Becky, I've decided. So it's Barcode Becky versus Selphy. Few Marines pushing out onto the map. Not too sure exactly what they hope to accomplish. They might be able to catch the mothership core or a stalker, but most units can evade the Marines in the early game. Keeping the watchtower, though, I suppose is fine enough. They will be in a position to get a little bit damage in off on this mothership. Did it kind of shoot? A little bit of a misfire on the shot there. After this, we've actually got 2 barracks, factory, and it looks like he wants to be really aggressive. Everything is rallied up to the front. So my thought here is that he is going to try to break this nexus, but with the mothership core building up energy for a photon overcharge. It's so difficult to rush against Protoss now for like a one base rush just because that photon overcharge will shut so many things down. That could be very unfortunate. You do have the option of maybe running into the main base and getting damage there, but it's quite a risk. So you see that's a good chunk of army right now for the Terran player, compared to what is out for the Protoss. But the Photon Overcharge alone changes most of the aspects of what you can do early on. Reactor on that factory, it's just going to move over for that starport there. It'd be nice. I love doing the Widow Mine play against Protoss, but it can get shut down so fast as soon as you start having the observers out on the field, and then you just start wasting all that money. 2 observers out in good spots. He sees everything coming. Backs up. He's going to wait to make sure that the units are nice and close. Oh, he actually gets one of the observers. Getting the second one would have been a nice pickup. 4 Stalkers, I'm surprised he didn't chase that down. He could have gotten a lot of damage on these Marines. Stimpack is about to finish. Very, very fast Stimpack. He got that out as quickly as he probably was able to. I don't know what that SCV is doing there. Has he still got that one SCV over here? No, he doesn't. He had that figured out. Is that going to be a tech lab? I don't mind if you can start mixing in tanks. I'm even seeing players like Innovation mixing tanks into their anti-Protoss play, just to get that extra range, get that extra bit of damage. And it helps you deal with things like blink play or a lot of force fields. Against gateway style play, it's super, super effective. Against robo-based play, where you have all those Immortals or you have all those Colossus, they generally don't have as much effectiveness. I do like getting the leg charge over here. Storm, upgrades. Only 1 forge, but that's all he can probably afford right now. Just get a good scan of those rocks dying. Very clutch Photon Overcharge cast there. Once again, there's just not a lot of army here. And then there's nothing right now really in the main base. Recall, oh, thought he might be able to get a feedback or something like that, but wouldn't have been too effective. But this is actually a pretty smart play here from the Terran player. I must say, when you see an opponent that's falling back so hard on the Photon Overcharge, great, just go to their main base and get damage done that you can. Sniping these High Templar would be very, very worthwhile as well. Gets the Archon down, but that will get sniped. There's no energy on the medevacs. Getting the pylons. Wow, those units got sniped right to hell. Good positioning for the units back here. And this is just really difficult for the Protoss player. I mean, he's just running around in circles and losing so many units every single time he's trying to do this. Yeah, the Terran army is beat all to hell. But that was a really, really effective opening play. 17 worker kills. Still putting the damage on. Get done what you can. There's no Stalkers in here. There's no anti-air whatsoever. Where's the next pile of army? Units kind of all over the place right now for the Terran. Doesn't really have anything backing this up. I like having the factory. Is that a different factory? Nope, same factory. Just landed it there as part of the block. So pretty good little attack there from the Terran player, Selphy. Becky just wanted to get out that storm, but if you don't have that core amount of army of some Stalkers and some Zealots kicking around to deal with that kind of attack, yeah, it's really difficult to hold off just really good Terran pressure. And that wasn't even like a super upgraded Terran pressure or anything like that. Good snipe on the Overseer there. There's not another Mothership core out yet. I believe there are some storms available here. Nice storm dodge. Cool. Nice multitasking there by Selphy. I'm actually not a huge fan of him going for more drops. With this, I think he should just return home, heal up his army, and then combine it together. Because right now, I don't think he's getting enough damage in. And he's losing tons of units and not really getting a lot of damage done. Those units just patrolling? No, they're just rolling all over the place. There we go. More production buildings. Ghosts already on the way. Selphy seems to have a pretty good game plan. He could get his... There he's go. I was about to say he could get more people in gas. If we look at the income tab here, let's take a quick look. 22 more harvesters. a heck of a lot more minerals. Gas is fairly equal right now, which is surprising, isn't there? There should be a good chunk of more gas for the Terran player. What can you do? Oh no. Weakened medevac hanging out in the back there. There's no blink. Lucky about that. There's not a ton of stalkers, but blink would have allowed him to maybe snipe down at least that weakened medevac. Not a lot of army pulled here to deal with this. Let's see if he gets the storms that he really wants. Or the feedbacks. Oh man, he lost the medevac too, full of units. A little bit of bad control out of the Terran player there. But he's been doing pretty good so far. It's the first real sizable mistake, I guess you could say, that he's put forth. Oh, he actually gets a High Templar from that. This is kind of cheeky. They've essentially got stimmed down to no health. One shot. That just kind of looks funny to me. Another base is already on the go here, focusing on the gas immediately. Lots and lots of ghosts. That heavy ghost play is something that a lot of protoss have difficulty dealing with. Specifically because if you get, if you snipe the detection, those ghosts just sit there and rain down havoc on you. 24 damage versus light. That's pretty good for that. So doing about as much damage as a Marauder is, essentially, at this point. Against Zealots or any High Templars. Finally, there is a third base for the Protoss. The Terran isn't as far ahead as I thought he would be. A little bit too much time being cutesy with his drops. I think it cost him a little bit more by him having to do that as well. Scans himself just to see if there's an observer right overhead. There is not. The Protoss player has not been really able to afford to just kind of throw away observers too much. More medevacs. No, it's not a big Protoss army, but he maybe feels like he's got to get some damage done. He has some storms, so he could get lucky. He's behind, but he's not as far behind as I thought he would be at this point. He managed to do some work with those drops. Terran's moving out at kind of a bad time. We'll see if he catches this really soon, and that's why it's sometimes nice to have Widow Mines out on the map, or just making sure you have your watchtowers. That way you'll know if these kind of attacks are coming. Now he's storming some medevac, some SCVs, and that's good and all, but unfortunately, when the army comes, if he doesn't have enough storms left, losing the command center is kind of rough. Nice EMPs, so many EMPs. Bad move command from the Protoss army, and essentially just sends it to a death. Well, he did snipe a base, and I mean, it's hard to justify it was worth sacrificing that much of his army, but he needed to do something to try and get a little bit of a catch-up there. This base is completely exposed. It'd been nice to send maybe a handful of Zealots down that way. He's got the charge and the upgrades. Would have got himself a pretty good chunk of damage. More ghosts, +3s on the way for the upgrades. +3 armors on the way right now, which is very important when you're going against a bio-focused Terran. A lot of the DPS comes from a lot of shots that are... Oh, there's that Zealot run I was talking about. A lot of shots very rapidly. Is he going to be able to deal with this? Alright, workers killed. He's getting a handful in there from Becky. We'll see what he... That is so sick. It's just so all-in-ish, though. I don't know if there's cloak for those ghosts, but a couple of good EMPs on this army and you're just dead. Right? It's very, very important that you start spreading out those High Templars in anticipation of the EMPs. There's even, I think, a couple of Vikings in tow here, which is very interesting. Handful of medevacs are keeping a lot of this army in the game, but yeah, he's just going to blow through that in the end of it. Pretty good game out of Selphy there. I think he got a little cocky with some of his drops, but I'm glad he kept the pressure on, moved into a good composition, and yeah, was just able to kind of steamroll those different little attacks there. Great game. Thanks very much again to Gonzy for sending this out to me, and I think I have a couple more games to go through from this tournament as well. SeKo Starcraft, and we'll talk with you guys later.